There's a game I played this weekend that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. The game by Inkle Studios. They've made games like Heaven's Vault, Overboard. They're known for their narrative-based choice kind of decision-making type games, using their own engine, actually called Ink, that allows you to kind of create these branching dialogue or choice-based engine for any game that you want to be able to create. And it's if you're thinking it could be like a Telltale-like game, similar to that. The game is called TR-49, and it's brand new. It just came out, and it's a puzzle-based game that I think has probably a better system for tracking puzzle pieces than blueprints. Let me explain. I'm Steve Saylor. I'm an accessibility consultant and content creator. I'm also blind, and if you want to know how I can be able to play games and what I see when I play in games when I'm blind, take a look at the video here or link in the description down below. So TR-49 it's kind of hard to explain without spoiling it, so I'm going to try my best, but if it sounds like vague and not really with any detail, I apologize. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible. It's a game where you are at a old computer for all intents and purposes. It's kind of designed to be this catalog or this library of notes and books and letters and resources that where every page has a corresponding code to it. Gives you 2 letters and 2 numbers, hence the name of the game, TR-49. And it's designed to be a computer or a device that essentially can crack secret codes. It was kind of designed to be like this secret code breaking machine that was used in World War II kind of thing, and built to uncover secrets or keep things secret based on specific codes. And as you're playing the game, you're generally trying to be able to figure out the story based on finding essentially random codes to these documents that unfold a story of the history of this machine, the history of the world in this, what has happened during this time, and from going back as far as early 1900s to basically 1980s. So it kind of fits within that historical time period. And every single code and every single document that you like unlock or find are also like coded and scrambled, so you have to try to find a way to decode it and get the proper information. And you're trying to find all these puzzle pieces to fit together the story of what is happening in this game. And it does a very good job. It keeps you in the game. It keeps you interested. The puzzles, I think, of finding these codes are tough but fair, I guess is the word, the phrase I'm looking for. Now, as far as accessibility, actually, the accessibility of this game is actually pretty decent. There's not a lot that is there in regards to settings. Actually, I can even show you the settings here. Essentially, you have a full screen option. You can be able to turn on subtitles, which are actually on by default. There's vibration settings. This is a brand new setting. This reduced glitch effects. One of the complaints I had when I was playing it was that the text kind of would have this sort of computer scan lines, kind of glitchy sort of digital effect to it, that animation that kind of was hard to make read out the text. But they just did an update that actually adds this feature in since I played this last. And you can also reduce hints if you want a little bit more of a challenge in figuring out the puzzle of the game. And then obviously a bunch of volume settings. So this game doesn't have a lot in terms of settings. But I think for a majority of disabilities, actually, this game could be quite fun. I think the one, and unfortunately, as we've seen in a lot of games, that it does not do well in is in regards to like totally blind players. There is a lot of text that unfortunately it is not read. There's no screen reader. There's some text that's read, and there's a bit of audio dialogue in there, but unfortunately not enough to be able to help you solve this the puzzle of this game and go along with the story without having sighted assistance. Everything else, deaf and hard of hearing, everything is all on one screen, so pretty much it's easy to see, and including actually the subtitles are on by default with a pretty decent text size, including a contrast background and speaker tags of sorts, where it actually kind of displays the speaker by avatar, sort of like a profile picture, than necessarily the name of the character. So I think that that's actually pretty cool. And then everything else is basically anytime that the game needs to grab your attention, if you're deaf and hard of hearing, there is a visual element to be able to get your attention. And I'm not going to spoil basically how it does it. But also, I think for motor disabled players, I think this game works really well too. It's a simple control scheme. You can't remap it, but it is relatively simple. I think that it relies on holds a little bit more than I think is necessary. And then also cognitive accessibility. One of the things it does, and this kind of brings in the blueprints aspect of it. I'm going to show how this looks, because I think it's actually quite interesting. And so here are the note-taking system that is built into this game. I think that this actually does a good job at being able to keep the information that you need at a pretty quick sort of glance. I think this notebook actually does a really great job of giving you the important information that you need in order to be able to continue on with this game. I think also as well, blueprints could take notes, as it were, pun intended, on how I think that this could improve blueprints in a way. But also I understand that there is a particular thing that, like, at least we're comparing the two games, that I don't think that blueprints would benefit from. How this game does its nose is that anytime any important information is found within a note, it gets automatically updated in this notebook. And that could be from something as simple as that they, like in this one, Elise Collerly abandoned the machine in 1985. That's something that could pop up in a note if you find the code, and that could be as simple as that, or a birth date or a death date, and it always will automatically update the notebook with that information. The more information you find about a person or a thing or a particular book or a series of journals, what have you, it will sort of fill out the information a bit more, give you a kind of a better sense of who this person is or what kind of thing that you found, which again I don't think would work in blueprints, because the thing I think that blueprint stands out in the puzzle sort of side of things is that you never know what is important, and I kind of adds that escape room sort of mentality. It's like you never know what item or what thing in the room is important, so it does rely on you having to take notes yourself to think of things that could potentially be important. What I think that blueprints could learn from TR-49 is at least having a note-taking system within the game. Yes, having a notebook is a great idea for essentially for keeping track of everything in blueprints. And I will say this, in TR-49, I did not need to have a physical notebook. But having an internal notebook for cognitive accessibility is great, because it keeps track of everything, so you never are lost, and you can always figure out where you are in regards to the story of how finding more information about a particular thing that's in the notes, you can basically go back to and kind of refresh your memory if you kind of have to come back to it after a while. But also it helps for cognitive disabilities if you have trouble trying to remember, keep track of codes and stuff like that. And whereas in blueprints, obviously, it doesn't have that capability. You have to kind of keep your own note-taking system. But I think that, I really do think that blueprints could learn a thing or two from TR-49 in having a notebook that essentially is user-generated, where you can add pages to rooms that is in blueprints that you could take your own notes with, whether it's typing in notes or taking screenshots that are saved within that note. Because having a physical notebook, while fine, may not be as accessible to as many people as you think, but it still relies on the player to decide on what is important to them, and still be able to keep track of that within the game itself. So you don't have to have your phone with you to take screenshots, or a folder of screenshots on your computer, or even just a notebook of basically just scribble notes that can be incoherent to anybody if you're trying to come back to it starting fresh. That I think all of that, if you can combine that into the notes of that is similar to TR-49, I think actually this could make Blueprints better. Do I think that Blueprints is bad? No, it has its issues, but I don't think it's bad. Do I think that TR-49 is a better game, a better puzzle game? No, I think that they are both unique in their own right. But I do appreciate the work on it to be able to make the notebook as accessible as possible to allow disabled players like myself to literally play this game in literally one session. I finished this in 8 hours and I wrote credits on it. That's saying something. In conclusion, I think this game does a really great job at kind of giving you just enough information to keep going and just enough information to unlock that will make this story make sense. Like once it clicks after like the first half hour, 45 minutes, even up to an hour, it really does click and you're just finding codes left and right that are really, really great that I really do enjoy. And I definitely would think that this is a game that if you love puzzles and you love a quick little experience, like a 5 to 8 hour game, this definitely is a game for you. As far as accessibility, definitely could see some improvements in it. I think for as far as rating, a review, I would give this game a 3 out of 5 for accessibility. And that's going to be it for me. Actually, if you want to be able to hear more of my thoughts on a note-taking system, I actually did a video about Blueprints where I kind of did a game design sort of experiment where I basically tried to come up with a note-taking system for Blueprints that could be integrated into the game. Make sure to check it out here or link in the description down below. If you want to be able to see more of my videos, I try to be able to do regular videos, reviews, or just previews, or thoughts about games and accessibility. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to be able to see more. I try to release one every single week. That's it for me. Take care. Have a great one. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.